As always, let's begin this broadcast by getting you the latest updates on the COVID crisis. Cases have been surging for the last 1 week or so. And in Mumbai, the last 24 hours, we've seen over 8,000 infections being recorded. 40 are Omicron infections, taking the tally of the new variant in the city to 578. However, just 3,735 COVID patients are admitted in Mumbai hospitals, out of which only 948 were on oxygen support. Nearly 90% of the cases are completely asymptomatic. 2 deaths related to COVID were also reported. Schools in Mumbai will be shut for students from class 1 to 9 and 11. Offline classes will continue for students of class 10 and 12. On Monday, Mumbai began vaccinating teenagers between the ages of 15 to 18. A total of 1,026 teenage beneficiaries were jabbed yesterday.
मुंबई में ज़्यादा ही संख्या बढ़ रही है, तिगनी चौगनी संख्या बढ़ रही है रुग्णों की, और इसमें बच्चे लोग 16% बच्चे लोग बाधित हो रहे हैं। ये देखने के बाद एक निर्णय हुआ है 4 जनवरी से 31 जनवरी तक स्कूल बंद रहेगी, ऑनलाइन स्कूल चालू रहेगी, और जो वैक्सीन देना है 15 से 18 तक वो उनकी बर्थ डेट देख के उनका सर्दी खांसी खोखला नहीं है करके उनको स्कूल के माध्यम से लसी केंद्र पे उनकी वैक्सीनेशन हो जाएगी।
A cruise party from Mumbai to Goa has turned into a full-blown COVID cluster. This after 66 of the 2016 passengers on board tested positive for COVID. The Cordelia cruise ship, which left from Mumbai to Goa, is now stranded at the Mormugao port terminal, with Goa government refusing to give permission for the ship to dock.
A Mumbai-Goa cruise ship has turned into a COVID hotspot after 66 passengers tested positive. On January 2nd, a crew member aboard the Cordelia cruise ship tested positive for COVID. Panic ensued after the infected crew member was isolated inside the ship. Reports suggest there are 2,016 passengers on the cruise. The luxury cruise ship set sail from Mumbai to Goa. After the crew member tested positive, the Goa government denied permission to dock on its port. A medical team wearing PPE kits went on the ship to test over 2,000 people, which includes passengers and crew. The RT-PCR test results showed that 66 passengers are infected with COVID. Officials have given strict instructions that no one should disembark from the ship without a negative report. The cruise is currently near Mormugao Port Cruise Terminal, awaiting permission to dock. The Cordelia COVID hotspot is similar to the Diamond Princess Cruise COVID cluster. In February 2020, during a cruise of the Western Pacific, cases of COVID-19 were detected on board the Diamond Princess. The vessel was quarantined off Japan for 2 weeks, after which all remaining passengers and crew were evacuated. With Saurabh Bakhtania, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now in Delhi also, the cases of COVID are spreading, and Omicron is now the dominant strain. The reason behind a staggering 800% rise in fresh cases that was reported in the last 7 days. To combat the growing threat of Omicron, the Delhi Disaster Management Authority will convene a special meet at 11 a.m. to chalk out restrictions for Delhi. Milind Sharma with the latest.
A sudden COVID surge has Delhiites worried. And their concerns stem from these numbers. On December 28th, Delhi had reported less than 500 new cases. A week later, over 4,000 new cases were reported, a staggering 800% rise in just 7 days. And behind this rapid surge is the new coronavirus variant, Omicron.
2 दिन का जो लास्ट 2 डेज का बता सकता हूँ, उनमें 84% जो पेशेंट थे वो ओमिक्रॉन के थे। 84%। अगर पूरे महीने का निकालते हैं तो फिर वो कम हो जाता है, पूरे महीने की जरूरत नहीं है। हमारी आशा है कि जल्द से जल्द पीक आए और ये खत्म हो, और भगवान से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि जनवरी से आगे बिल्कुल ना जाए।
Delhi government has urged people not to panic as hospitalizations are low in Omicron.
ज़्यादा लोगों को घबराने की जरूरत नहीं, सतर्क रहने की जरूरत है। 2 साल का एक्सपीरियंस बता रहा है कि भाई मास्क लगाएं तो इससे बच सकते हैं, और जल्द ही दिल्ली के लोग सब मिलके इस कोरोना की नए रूप को, जिसे ओमिक्रॉन कहते हैं, इसको भी जल्द ही हराएंगे।
But health experts warn that a milder variant of COVID does not mean that citizens take it lightly.
The cases are not that severe. So we are getting cases with which come with mild symptoms like cough, cold, fever, sore throat, and especially with adults or children, if they are affected with some comorbid conditions, we may require oxygen, but we are all prepared now.
As of now, Delhi is on yellow alert, but with positivity rate shooting over 6%, harsher restrictions could be the logical next step. With Milan Sharma in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So yes, India is witnessing a rapid surge in COVID cases, but data shows a lower number of deaths and, importantly, a lower number of hospitalizations. The highly contagious Omicron variant has been causing milder symptoms in patients, and that's a big relief for the health infrastructure so far.
A new coronavirus variant is on the loose. COVID cases are rapidly surging across India. Omicron is said to be highly contagious, but doctors say the new variant causes milder symptoms in patients.
The cases are not that severe. So we are getting cases with which come with mild symptoms like cough, cold, fever, sore throat, and they can be managed symptomatically. And we haven't had any severe cases as yet.
The virus, when it is too contagious, it mutates. And due to these mutations, eventually it loses its edge. Because of these mutations, it is losing its penetrating power, as we can see with the Omicron variant.
While cases are surging in Mumbai, what has come as relief for the authorities is the low level of hospitalizations. While active cases jumped from 2,419 from December 22nd to 29,819 on January 2nd, deaths remain around 1 a day. In Delhi too, there has been a considerable fall in number of deaths and hospitalizations during the ongoing rapid rise in COVID cases.
Experts have cited two main reasons for why there are less hospitalizations at the moment, even as we are looking at a rising graph of COVID and Omicron cases in India. Number one, at the time when vaccinations began during the second wave and the Delta variant was infecting people, people were not vaccinated, but now they are. To a large extent, almost everyone has received 2 doses of the COVID vaccine. The second very important reason happens to be that Omicron is not impacting the lungs directly. That means that there's no need of oxygenation when a person is getting admitted. Most of the admissions are of comorbid people, since the Omicron is only impacting the upper respiratory tract. If it impacts the lungs directly, people need severe hospitalizations, and that seems not to be happening at the moment.
With Milan Sharma in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And today it's a mega Vikas push by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in pole-bound Manipur this time. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate 13 projects worth 1,850 crore rupees and also lay the foundation stone of 9 projects worth 2,950 crore rupees. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone for the construction of 5 national highway projects to be built at a cost of over 1,700 crore rupees. Prime Minister Modi will also dedicate to the people of Manipur 2,387 mobile towers built at a cost of around 1,100 crore rupees for boosting mobile connectivity. The Prime Minister will lay the foundation stone for a cancer hospital in Imphal worth around 160 crore rupees. It's been built on a PPP basis. This cancer hospital will greatly benefit the people of the state. The PMO said he will also inaugurate a 200-bed COVID hospital at Kiamge, which has been built for about 37 crore rupees in collaboration with the DRDO. The BJP, which is currently ruling the state, won 21 seats in 2017 with 36% of the vote share. The Congress, however, was the single largest party with 28 seats and a vote share of 35%. Let's now get your excerpts from an India Today super exclusive. Punjab Congress chief Navjot Singh Sidhu has spoken exclusively to India Today on his campaign trail. Sidhu rejected any reports of a tussle with Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi, saying he was no one to rank the Chief Minister's performance. However, the mercurial Congress Neta ducked questions on the CM face for Congress. Sidhu went all guns blazing at his fiercest foe, Captain Amrinder Singh, calling him a spent force. The Congress leader also accused him of acting at the behest of BJP during his stint as Chief Minister. Now, Sidhu also attacked Kejriwal, calling his promises a lollipop. The Congress leader also advised him to develop Delhi first.
पिछली बार आम आदमी पार्टी ने सीएम फेस घोषित नहीं किया था।
वो तो पिछली बार की बात।
तो फिर मैं तो कह रहा हूं कि कई बार होता है कि सीएम फेस घोषित नहीं होता। हाँ, ये जरूर है कि पंजाब के लोग जानना चाहेंगे कि भाई कौन एजेंडा देगा, किसको जिम्मेवारी मिलेगी। इट इज ऑलवेज देयर, या तो किसी फेस पे इलेक्शन लड़ा जाता है या एजेंडे पे लड़ा जाता है। तो ये पार्टी हाईकमांड तय करेगी कि हम एजेंडे पे इलेक्शन लड़ेंगे या कलेक्टिव लीडरशिप पे लड़ेंगे। मैं क्या चाहता हूं क्या नहीं, उसका फर्क नहीं पड़ता। जो लीडरशिप हाईकमांड है वो क्या चाहती है उसका फर्क पड़ता है। लेकिन इसके बावजूद आखिरी ताकत पंजाब के लोगों के पास है। देखिए, अब एमएलए नहीं है, वो 5 साल पहले बने थे। आज पंजाब के लोगों ने सरकार बनानी है। पंजाब के लोगों की जमीन फाड़ के जो आवाज आ रही है वो आवाज सुननी पड़ेगी।
There are many women out there trying to conceive, many freezing their eggs to be able to conceive at a later age, and many with PCOS trying to conceive. Whatever be the case, your diet plays a huge role along with the right medication to improve fertility and ovulation. But what is that diet that should be a part of your lifestyle? Chaiti Narola explains.
While trying to conceive, your diet plays a huge role along with the right medication to help you conceive. A diet with whole fruits and veggies, low glycemic index, right amount of carbs, good fats and proteins is a must.
So let's start with carbs. It's the most vilified of the lot, and people think you need to be completely off carbohydrates. What you need to be off is the processed carbohydrates, the simple sugars, and there is absolutely no room for processed food.
But too much protein and synthetic proteins need to be knocked off. Here is why.
Things like extra protein, lactose, they will actually increase what's called IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor, which will disrupt your hormones and they will worsen the PCOS status. So stay away from extra protein. Very important to have adequate protein. Very important to have good quality bioavailable protein.
A high fiber diet is a must. Not only does it help balance blood sugar levels, but helps you flush out excessive androgens.
Fiber gives you the roughage to go to the loo. So you pass stools regularly. When that happens, you also in your stool with the fiber are passing extra androgens. If you don't pass motions properly, you can actually reabsorb the androgens into your blood system.
Do not fear fats. You heard that right. You need the good fats, but not the bad fats.
If your fats coming from good sources and you're having the omega-3 fatty acids, that will actually help you normalize your hormones.
And do not fear medication. The right fertility diet and medication go hand in hand to help those conceive who aren't able to despite trying.
Yes, we require it, and like I keep saying, it has to be individual, it has to be personalized, but I can't say that there is no role for medication for everybody, or there is no role for medication after 3 months or 6 months. That would be incorrect, because it depends on how metabolically dysfunctional you are when you come to the clinic.
Finally, supplements really go a long way in helping your overall fertility. Your doctor ought to decide which ones you must pop and not you. The ones most preferred are CoQ10, that has taken the world by storm, folate, I-carnitine, vitamin D, and magnesium. Finally, knock off the processed foods and sugar.
I like supplements like vitamin D because, like I said, that's a superstar vitamin and helps with all your hormones. It is the master hormone. So it helps regulating your blood sugars, it helps, with weight, it helps with mood, with sleep, all of which are very, very important in PCOS.
Docs feel the right diet, medication, supplementation are key to healthy ovulation. An anti-inflammatory diet not just helps ovulation, but helps enhance the overall quality of life. In New Delhi, Chaiti Narula for India Today.
Johannesburg has been a happy hunting ground for India over the years. Yet on day one of the second test at the Wanderers, India were bowled out for 202 by the South African Quicks. While the hosts finished the day with 9 wickets in hand, Indian bowlers were on top at stumps. Yes, how it all panned out.
Tell us about nerves, okay?
No Virat Kohli at the toss.
1 down in the series, 2 to play.
It was a surprise to see KL Rahul at the coin flip.
The only difference is...
Indian openers started brightly, but Mayank Agarwal's quick start was brought to an end by Marco Jansen for 26.
With any success, Marco Jansen gets it.
Pujara hung around for a total of 33 deliveries, but could manage just 3 runs.
South Africa were looking for. Have a look at the enforcer. He liked that, didn't he? It's the wicket before lunch.
Pujara's departure brought Ajinkya Rahane to the crease, and the former India vice captain was gone for a first ball duck.
Just moments before lunch, and Rahane
at 49 for 3, India was staring down the barrel.
Stuff.
Rahul and Vihari, however, ensured India had a small partnership going.
Lovely stroke.
But Vihari's stay at the crease ended on 20 when Rassie van der Dussen took a spectacular catch to get rid of him.
Van der Dussen has his catch. It's landed all around him the whole test match so far, but this time he launches himself to the left and he has his...
Rahul got to his 50 but was caught in the deep moments later.
Played against the Indians before. Oh, yes! KG! And a blinder of a catch to go with him.
With half the side gone, Ashwin came out and played his shots.
Leans into one and it's a quick outfield.
With Rishabh Pant at the other end, India went into tea at 146 for 5.
Slammed that away for a boundary. That's nice.
The Indian keeper, though, departed early in the post-tea session.
Carried inside next, so he's got another one. Jansen's picked up his third. This was a really good performance from a 21-year-old.
Shardul Thakur then came out and went back without troubling the scorers.
Bounce of that one just steered us straight
way down.
Even as Ashwin struck a few boundaries, wickets kept tumbling.
Got him! Straight back, and that's a top catch.
You just keep thinking to yourself.
Jasprit Bumrah then smashed 2 fours and a 6 before India were bowled out for 202.
Straight up in the air and along.
In reply, South Africa lost Aiden Markram early with Shami trapping him in front.
Never looked good for Aiden Markram. His only hope is a kind of a double noise. Does he review it? Does he think he hit it? He doesn't.
While there were a number of plays and misses, lots of oohs and ahs, at the fag end of the day, Dean Elgar and Keegan Peterson somehow survived.
Dealt with beautifully by Dean Elgar. Got on top of it, rode it nicely behind square. Great shot.
India ended the day with an injury scare when Siraj pulled out, complaining of pain in his hamstring muscle.
Medical man is out there now.
Sports Bureau, India Today.
Siraj is going to start that track.
And that's all we have time for in this edition of Fair Stuff. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead and stay tuned to us here on India Today for all the latest news and updates.